The same house. Not a nicer one, not a bigger one. The exact same house costs you twice as much per month as it did 3 years ago, and its price barely moved. How? Because the thing that actually decides what you pay for a home isn't the price tag. It's a second number, and when it doubled, your monthly payment doubled with it. Once you see it, you'll understand why the market feels frozen solid, and why even the people who want to sell to you literally can't. Let's start with the number that matters because it isn't the sticker price. When you buy a house, you almost never pay the sticker price. You pay a monthly payment every month for 30 years. And that payment is built from two ingredients: the price of the home and the interest rate on the loan. Most people only watch the first one. The banks live and die by the second. Here's why that matters. Back in 2020 and 2021, mortgage rates fell to around 3%, the lowest in American history. Money was almost free, so buyers could afford bigger and bigger loans for the same monthly payment, and they bid prices up. The typical American home went from around $300,000 to over $400,000 in just a couple of years, roughly a 40 to 50% jump. That alone was painful. But it was only Act 1. Then inflation hit, and the Federal Reserve did the one thing that changes everything: it raised rates fast. By 2023, the average 30-year mortgage rate had climbed past 7%, more than double what it was. And here's the quiet part. When the rate doubles, the monthly payment on the same house roughly doubles too. So you ended up in the worst of both worlds. A house that cost more, financed at a rate that cost more on top of it. The payment to buy the typical home didn't tick up. It nearly doubled in about 2 years. Same house, same walls, same kitchen, twice the monthly bill. Think about what that does. A family that could comfortably afford the payment in 2021 looked at the exact same house 2 years later and simply could not make the math work. Nothing about the house changed. The financing changed. And that is the first thing they don't tell you. You're not just priced out by the price. You're priced out by the interest rate stapled to it. But now comes the strange part, the part that turns a hard market into a frozen one. You'd think high prices would bring a flood of sellers cashing in. Instead, the for sale signs vanished. Why? Because of something economists call the lock-in effect. I call it the golden handcuffs. Here's how it works. Picture a homeowner who locked in a 3% mortgage back in 2021. Their monthly payment is low, and it's frozen for 30 years. Now they think about selling and moving across town. To buy the next house, they'd have to give up their 3% loan and take on a new one at around 7%. For a similar home, their monthly payment could jump by hundreds, even over $1,000 for the same amount of space. So they do the only rational thing. They stay put. They don't sell. Now multiply that by the whole country. By recent estimates, well over half of American homeowners with a mortgage are sitting on a rate below 4%. Tens of millions of households are effectively chained to their current home by a cheap loan they can't take with them. And every one of those families that doesn't sell is one less house on the market for you to buy. The reason you can't find a home isn't only that they're expensive. It's that the people who'd normally sell to you are trapped in their own front doors, so the market freezes. Fewer homes for sale than almost any time in modern history. And when supply dries up, the few houses that do hit the market get swarmed and bid up all over again. High prices, high rates, and almost nothing to choose from. If you felt like you're fighting over scraps, you're not imagining it. You are. And if you enjoy having stuff like this pulled apart and explained in plain English, that's the entire point of this channel. One everyday thing, decoded every week. Stick around, because there's a deeper layer underneath the rates, and it's the one that's been building for 15 years. We simply stopped building enough houses. After the 2008 crash, home construction fell off a cliff. Builders went bankrupt by the thousands. Construction workers left the trade and never came back. For more than a decade, America built far fewer homes than its growing population needed. The shortfall added up. Freddie Mac estimated the country is short, roughly 3.8 million homes. Other estimates run higher. That's not a rounding error. That's millions of families with nowhere built for them to go. And a lot of that is by design in your own neighborhood. In most American cities, the majority of residential land is zoned for single-family homes only. It's effectively illegal to build an apartment, a duplex, or a small starter home on it. So even when there's demand and there's land, the rules say you can't add more housing. Scarcity isn't an accident. In a lot of places, it's written into local law. Then there's the newest player at the table. Wall Street figured out that houses aren't just homes. They're an asset class. After 2008, big investment firms started buying up single-family homes by the thousands to rent them out. One company alone, Invitation Homes, owns around 80,000 of them. Nationally, these mega landlords still own only a small slice of all homes. But they don't buy everywhere evenly. They concentrate in specific, affordable Sunbelt neighborhoods, the exact starter homes a first-time buyer wants. In some metros, like Atlanta, investors were buying a quarter or more of the homes that sold in a given stretch. When a cash-rich firm is bidding against you for the same starter house, you usually lose. So, here's the so what for you, and I'm going to keep it honest, not scary. You are not bad with money, and you didn't miss some secret window. You're trying to buy into a market that has been frozen by cheap loan handcuffs, starved of new construction for 15 years, and partly bought up by people who treat homes like stock. That's not a personal failure. That's a system. What can you actually do with that? A few things. First, watch the monthly payment, not just the price. A small drop in rates can help your budget more than a price cut, because the rate is doing most of the damage. Second, understand the lock-in won't last forever. As life happens, divorces, job moves, growing families, people are eventually forced to sell no matter their rate, and the market slowly thaws. Third, the real fix is boring, and it's supply. The places getting more affordable right now are the ones actually building, especially in parts of Texas and the Sun Belt, where a wave of new construction is finally pushing rents and prices back down. Affordability follows the cranes. Watch where they're building. So the next time someone tells you houses are expensive because of one simple villain, you'll know better. It isn't one thing. It's a frozen market, sitting on top of 15 years of homes we never built, with Wall Street picking off the cheapest ones. The price tag is just the symptom. The real story is a market that quietly stopped working like a market. And here's the one line to remember. You're not priced out of a house. You're locked out of a market that froze shut. And the only key that actually opens it is building more. If you want one everyday thing decoded like this every single week, subscribe. Penny will be right here. And if you want to know why the rent on that apartment you're stuck in keeps climbing too, even when you never moved, go watch the one on why your rent is set by an algorithm next. It's the other half of this exact story.